Toshi here. I want to talk about Honkai Star Rail and how it kind of relates to other turn-based games. Now, as someone I played tons of Pokemon growing up. I play Epic 7 still to this day. I play Artery Gear Fusion, which I probably won't make videos. That's not related to the video. But I played a lot of turn-based, and I played Summoners War 2 when that was, the game still does pull in good numbers, surprisingly. But yeah, I played a lot of turn-based games, and I'm fairly knowledgeable on how those games work. Uh, Typically, they are gacha games for the most part, except for Pokemon, and usually they do have some sort of pay-to-win aspect of it if it does have PvP. Now, we don't know if Honkai Star Rail will have PvP. There isn't any like information surrounding that there will be PvP as of right now. I personally, my opinion, I don't really expect there to be PvP, and I think I've really thought about it for a while, and I am fine with no PvP despite playing Epic 7 and enjoying PvP in that game, but sometimes I don't. And the only reason why I can't enjoy PvP is because it deters a lot of players from the game and also makes the game a lot more RNG reliant. Because if you do have PvP, the only way you can balance it with whales, right? Because whales are kind of the determining factor of a PvP game mode. The only way you can balance it is by adding a bunch of RNG in your game. And we know Epic 7 has 15%, dual attacks and all that jazz. And now and I'm not trying to say that RNG is the sole factor in that game, right? There is a little bit of skill based to it, but for the most part, a lot of it is, if there's no RNG, okay, who has the biggest wallet? And then I think that right there alone is enough for me to say I don't want to see PvP in this game, and that's okay. What I do want to see is definitely a lot of modes in the game that actually does benefit the players, building up their characters, kind of like we did not really have much of this in Genshin, unfortunately, and it sucks we didn't really get to see a labyrinth mode like in Honkai Impact 3. Now I play that game a lot too. I'm like level 81 or something like that, and so in Honkai Impact, there is there's Abyss, right? We have an Abyss. There is like a ultimate arena mode, and then there is a labyrinth kind of mode where you go through different floors and you pick up cards, and the cards give sort of upgrades to your character and their kit. And as you progress through the floors also get harder, and the higher you go, the much harder it gets. And there is multipliers to it, so you can kind of change the actual like match before you even get into the game. You can make it super, you can put like recruit difficulty, you can put like hardcore extreme nightmare difficulty. And I think that's something that Honkai Star Rail could benefit from, especially knowing that the turn-based like audience for gacha games is typically a little more slightly hardcore than your Genshin Impact or any other game that's not turn-based. And that's something I kind of want to see going forward for the game. So hopefully there is more than just two game modes that is in game. Please add something else. I think that'd be really nice for the game. No PvP, of course. I am a fan of no PvP. If they do, I think PvP might be okay if they do something in the sorts of maybe at like local tournaments or something. They like change the way the game works, and they have it like as its own entire mode of some sorts, and it's like the PvP in that game could be justifiable when there's a lot more characters and there's actual strategy behind what you do in the game. I think then PvP is justified, but only in a specific situation like that. Now, taking a look here at, Honkai Star Rail on the page from me, so hsrguide.com, I'm very thankful for people that honestly make information on games early before they even release. It's so helpful. And so on here, Honkai Star Rail is a little bit more, it really is like Epic 7 if you actually just like look at this core gameplay. You have the normal attack, the basic attack, you have the character skill, and you have the ultimate. So it's pretty typical. You have that in pretty much every game, 3 skills if you want to call it that. And I think there really isn't much complex, like a lot of people have been saying there isn't complexity behind it, and I mean that's fair. But is there complexity behind any other turn-based game except for Pokemon? Not really. I think a lot of the complexity comes in turn with the actual decision making and the strategy, right? Behind, your team your team or your team, right? A lot of the actual complexity comes behind your team and, you know, sort of what you do and how do you strategize, you know, killing a certain boss, so on and so forth, without just smashing your head in your keyboard. And I think that's something I'm more a fan of, and I think it's okay, you know, that this is kind of what it is. Because what you want is you want players that are new to turn-based to actually be able to get into the game and be able to understand the game at its base level and kind of, you know, have the skill floor, a skill expression higher, you know, but the skill floor itself is actually lower. That's fine. That's acceptable. That's the way it should be, right? Just so that the game is more acceptable for everyone. I would like to see a lot more players playing this game, so I think it's okay. But yeah, for the most part, it is like typical turn-based games. You have the ult, and you have the action gauge bar, you know, attack bar, action bar, CR, combat readiness, all of that jazz, turn order. So you do have characters like Bronya, who gives a turn to the character, you know, additional turn and stuff like that. So there is that in this game, and there is speed. Of course, we'll make a video on all of this stuff, and I will break it down to each and every single one of you of, you know, the game mechanics, all these certain like aspects to the core gameplay itself, just for you all to be able to understand. Like I said, it's not complex at all, but I definitely will make it very as simple as need be. Okay, and that's pretty much all I would talk about there for the most part. But I think overall this game definitely can benefit from not having PvP, only because I just don't see how, and I played a lot of games, right? And I just don't see how PvP is usually a good thing in games long term. It never really works out, especially when the games kind of start to die. So do the actual like free to play aspects die as well. The game starts to become super, especially if it's a PvP turn-based gacha, it usually becomes very heavily monetized as the game starts to die, just to milk the whales, right? And that's only to keep the game and the servers alive, unfortunately. And so I'm not really too much a fan of PvP, and I think it's okay. But hopefully they do add another game mode of some sorts. A labyrinth mode would be really sweet. I definitely want to see something like that. So I know we have Abyss right now, and we do have a game. Maybe there is a labyrinth mode already, and I'm talking on my ass here. So if there is a labyrinth mode, then cool. I would like to see one more mode. I think a mode I would like to see if there is already a labyrinth mode in the game would be a mode in which you're able to, it's like a unlimited floor or something, right? Or maybe there's 100 floors of some sort, like a Tower of Ascension would be cool if you played Summoner's War, Tower Ascension. If you played Epic 7, it's like Automation Tower, and I would like that game mode to reset. If it does, and only because it does, this game does have autoplay, so having a game mode like that resets weekly, bi-weekly, so on and so forth, is actually not bad, because you don't have to do it every single time. It's autoplay, so I think it's acceptable. Anyways, that's it. Thank you all for watching. More Honkai Star Rail videos will come, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.